Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. I am so excited to join you guys live. And we have a great panel here waiting to talk to you, to talk to all of us about personal growth and professional growth. And I'm so excited. My name is Miri Rodriguez. I'm a storyteller here at Microsoft in Core Services Engineering. And we're going to be talking about professional development, how that truly impacts your productivity and your future. And you may recognize some of these panelists if you're attending some of the high-profile industry-wide conferences. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And we're going to learn about how they've continued to build their network, their professional growth, and how that may serve you in wherever you are in your career. So throughout the session, just want to remind you that you can post your questions. Please do. We'll be able to answer them. And if we don't have time in the end, we'll still get to you online on the different channels. Make sure you hashtag us Microsoft Live and do follow us so you continue to learn from the insights that we're sharing here. So we're really excited to get this show on the road. So let's get started and let's introduce our panel.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jessica Pagan. I work as a software engineer with the Cosign team. It's Core OS and Intelligent Edge. I work as doing web development for the Windows community team. And then I come from the University of Puerto Rico, where I did my degree in computer science. And as a student, I also work in a Microsoft store in Puerto Rico as well. So it gave me the opportunity to meet the company from the inside out and fell in love with it. So after I graduated, I got the opportunity to join the engineering team here.
Nice. Puerto Rico in the house. Puerto Rico. Charles.
Very nice. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good.
So hello, everyone. My name is Charles Wattenberg. I'm a storyteller and senior product marketer at Microsoft for consumer security. I've been at Microsoft about 3 years, but I've been heading west for the last 12. I spent some time in Boston in college, studied engineering, then moved to Chicago, spent about 6 years there working, and then going to grad school.
Wow.
And then moved to Seattle about 3 years ago. At Microsoft, I've held roles in supply chain and program management before moving to product marketing. And more to come on that later.
Ooh, exciting. A man after my own heart, a storyteller as well. Nice. Thank you for being here, Charles. Sally.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sally Calloway. I'm a senior audio designer on the Microsoft Mixed Reality at Work team, where my specific team, we're looking at the intersection between mixed reality, the Internet of Things devices, artificial intelligence, machine learning, specifically to explore the future of audio. My background is in sound engineering, sound design, and actually game audio design.
Ooh. Do you get to see robots?
Occasionally there's some robots around, but I see a lot of microphones myself.
Machines are here, people. They're here. Well, today we're going to talk about what steps you guys are taking right now. And to build your career, what steps you've taken in your journey that have helped your career, and how that can help our audience. I'm sure we have a plethora of audience out there that could be, anywhere from just recent grad or graduating soon to someone who's just looking to make a change in their industry or sector. I know that as a brand coach, I get a lot of people like mid-career that just want to say, hey, I want to just change all up, and how do I do that? What do I do? So I want to, as a storyteller, I want to hear your stories about what you've done so far and what has helped you in the steps that people can take today to help their career in the future. So I would love to hear from you guys. What have you done to keep yourself growing in your career? Any untapped, sources, resources that you've actually tapped through your career journey that have helped you to get here so far?
Well, one of the things that I learned, and even from students, something that I'm applying now, is networking. But the part that the working that I learned through experience was maintaining that connection. Sometimes we do networking to find opportunities that we are looking for, and some of them don't happen at the moment, some of them doesn't work out at the moment, but that doesn't mean that you cannot continue to create that relationship with that person. If you see as a potential mentor or role model, someone that you can learn from them, what they are doing to grow in their career and personal development, and what things you can apply for yourself. It's something that when I start going to different events, hackathons, can be conferences, I create some connections, and I maintain those connections even after I was about to graduate. And a lot of opportunities that I got when I was graduating came from connection that I did years ago.
Wow.
And today, as an early career, is something that I still see that is coming with new opportunities every time that I create more connections and maintain those as well.
Yeah, networking is definitely a big deal. It's something that I think all of us can say has helped us throughout our career. I think, Sally, you have an incredible story of how networking really helped you land a job.
Absolutely. It's interesting because my first degree was in sound engineering and sound design, as I said before, but now I'm working in this amazing team in mixed reality and AI ML technologies. How did I make that jump? One of the things that I had to do was keep a really open mind about what I was curious about and really be ready to follow those pathways. So one of the things that I did last year, I was working for a startup and I got to experience a lot of different types of projects, and I was working a little bit with augmented reality demos. So I distilled all the little things that I learned, and after the startup didn't go so well, I actually opened up a Medium account and wrote a Medium article. So I captured all these little thoughts that I had about like what are the considerations for audio and augmented reality. I wrote that article, published it before Christmas, and shared it around my networks that I've been building over my career. And my current boss at Microsoft, who obviously I wasn't working at Microsoft when I shared this Medium article, I think it got forwarded to him about 6 times. And I still have people coming up to me like around Studio C saying, when are you going to write the second part?
So when are you going to write the second part?
I am actually working on it. Slow and steady wins the race with this one. So it was that approach of like content marketing that really helped me gain some access to an area that was slightly different. And then it was my curiosity and ability to kind of like latch onto that and go for it and really embrace this new team that got me to kind of make that switch.
I love that. Charles, you also have an incredible story about putting your curiosity out there and it landing somewhere unexpected. Can you share that?
Absolutely. I think it's curiosity and also doing something different. So my story of how I moved from product operations and supply chain to product marketing, so switching disciplines and functions, is quite funny. So about a year ago, I was looking for my next opportunity, and I did coffee chats like everyone says you should do. So I spent about a month and a half having coffee chats with different people.
Like meetups, you mean?
Yes, meetups.
Okay.
Just like, setting up time with people and saying, hey, tell me about what your team does. I would love to learn more. And when I wasn't getting the kind of results I was looking for, I decided to take a step back and try something different. What I did was I had taken a class on how to build apps. My team had sponsored me to take a training class.
Okay.
So I said, how can I apply technology to this problem, this real life problem that I'm having? So I decided to build an AI bot for an app for career development. And I must say, I am not a technical person. So me learning how to code is me literally following instructions. So over the course of about a month and a half, I built this app on my phone, and I also built a pitch deck on PowerPoint. Wow. And then I just literally talked about this app, did a demo, and walked in my deck with anyone in my network that I met, internally and externally. And as fate would have it, I was having coffee with one of my mentors. Her name is Ibn. She works in the office team. Okay. And she said, hey, Charles, have you thought about product marketing? And I said, what? She's like, product marketing, I think you'd be good at it. You built an app from scratch. You're telling a story. And I said, sure, tell me more. So fast forward 3 weeks later after we had coffee, I had interviewed and accepted a job with my now team and our Windows product marketing.
And you became a storyteller.
Yeah, so in summary, I think what helped me switch disciplines and functions was just being curious, trying something different, and also applying the things I had learned to do a real life example.
I love that. That's so wonderful. And I want to bring back, just to kind of sum up what you've done and how it's helped you. So definitely networking, in person, going to conferences. You mentioned obviously the digital part of networking, getting yourself out there vulnerable and curious and talk about it, write about it, meet people about it, right? You mentioned mentorship. I think, Sally, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, share what's in your head as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that means
people know what you're about.
Yeah, the vulnerability. Just get out there and talk. And people that know me know I do that all the time, maybe to a fault. But you mentioned mentorship, and to me, that's a huge deal. My personal story coming to Microsoft, my first year, I actually almost didn't make it. I was, it wasn't what I expected. I didn't feel like I fit in. It was just so many things happened. I got recruited about 6 years ago, and a person who was a skip level to my boss actually kind of took me in and he started mentoring me. And he's actually the reason I'm here today. Mentors, and since then I've had like 6 mentors, all at once maybe. Like, I love mentors. I think that they really bring different aspects to, you know, how you can build your career. They help you see those blind spots. I mean, there's just so many things that they can help with. And like you said, Jess, they don't necessarily give you something immediately. It could be like later on in the future it helps you. So gather those mentors and make sure that, you know, they help you out throughout. When you talk about professional development, I would like to see how your personal development chimes into that, how those two come in, professional and personal. What would you say, Jess?
Well, I think you have 2 different parts that you want to like work. You have your career that you are doing professionally, and also you have projects on the side or something that you want to like work your personal branding. And when it comes in networking, when you're trying to find new opportunity for your career to grow or to try something different or to like explore a new thing, the networking will help you get along the way. And those skills you can apply in your personal development as well, in your projects that you're trying to do, in putting your story out there and finding the right mentors as well. One of the things that happened to me was that after I got as a software engineer, I didn't know what to do next. And it was something that was keeping on my mind all the time. And Donna Sarkar was someone that I always like follow her tips, and she always like share advices. And one of the things that she says, if you have something in your mind, just put it out there, like write it down. She's like a great writer and journalist. So I did that, but it keeps bothering me all the time. Like I say, okay, I wrote that, I keep looking at it, I keep shaming it. I just like, that's what Sally said, just let me put it out there. And then that's when I create an article on LinkedIn. And that article, someone found it from someone that followed me on LinkedIn. It was a connection that was not my connection. So when he saw it, he said, hey, I saw what you need. I saw that you're looking for advice. Let me contact you. And funny enough, that person was not a connection that I was actually looking for, but he shared his network with me to find the right mentors for me. So it's something that I was trying to find my personal development, and the things that I knew from my career, I applied them over there as well.
That's wonderful. Sally, what do you think about that? What do you think about professional and personal? How do they kind of bring in together?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge believer in the synergy between your professional life and your career lives, the professional life being the more personal professional life. So you don't have a career unless you are yourself, and you can operate like professionally in your own life as well and have your own opinions and your own kind of desires and goals and everything there too. So you really do need to put a lot of focus on what you can do today and what kind of it's on your shopping list to improve for yourself or to explore for yourself or to be curious about and explore into the future. And having that really healthy mindset in your own life, like when you get home from work or while you're working towards getting a new job or your first job, is actually really going to help you grow and have a really healthy growth mindset when you do land your job, and if you are in a new career or looking to make a jump in your career as well. So that synergy is super important, taking care of that middle bit in the Venn diagram and making sure you're always happy is like I think one of the most important things you can do for both sides of that.
Yeah.
And one thing to add on to that, Sally, so a lot of people reach out on LinkedIn and say, hey, Charles, I want to be a product marketer. Tell me about your story at Microsoft. And I think the most important thing is be your authentic self. What I love about Microsoft is it gives me a place to be myself, personally and professionally. But for folks looking to come into marketing, what I usually share is find something you're passionate about and do a project around it. For example, if you love coffee, and you have a favorite coffee shop in your neighborhood, pay them a visit and ask, hey, do you guys have a marketing campaign? Do you have a marketer? I'd love to do a project for you. And then just look at that, read some articles online, and then put together a portfolio of a marketing campaign for them. So then you get 2 for 1. You get to pursue your passion of marketing, you get to learn how to do a marketing deck, and you also get to help your coffee shop that you go hang out with over the weekend.
Yeah, That's wonderful. Thank you, Charles. I think that social media really enabled those blurred lines between personal and professional, and now we are, finding ourselves to share, and we should be sharing, all of us, because we're not just professional at work. We're professional, like you said, Sally, everywhere we go. So, and I do want to take this time to remind the audience, and thank you again for being here and being part of this with us. Please do post your questions and your comments. We will get to them very soon. I have a couple questions left with the panel, but we will have time for you. So please join us in this discussion, which I think is going wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. One of the things that you guys mentioned were conferences. I know that you'll be going to an awesome conference coming up soon. What is that one?
Yeah, it's actually this month, now that it's September. There's a conference called the Grace Hopper Celebration.
Ooh.
I have never been before, so this is my first time at the Grace Hopper, and I'm really excited to attend this conference, because it is more of a tech conference as opposed to more specialist conferences that I've attended previously. I've been to quite a few different audio conferences and virtual reality conferences and stuff. So
just a few
just
little
a
conferences
couple.
here and there.
I've been very lucky in my career, so being able to gain exposure to those events has been a real perk, and something that I've absolutely enjoyed and found a lot of pleasure in sharing my perspective on panels and speaking and helping co-chair these conferences.
Me too. And can I just share that as a mentor myself, a personal brand coach, I tell my mentees all the time, get yourself to the conferences.
Yeah.
And even if there's no budget for it, fund yourself, ask for the time off. I really find there's so much insight that you can bring back, so much growth that you can have in networking. I mean, it's so much that you can do at these conferences. And Jess, you also are going to another conference. And
Yeah, I'm going to 2 conferences this month.
2.
This week I'm going to Prospanica. It will be my first time going, so I'm very excited.
What is that one?
Prospanica is about Hispanic diversity in business. They're new grads or grad students, undergrads, and people that are in their career professionally as well.
Okay.
And I'm going for the 5th time to Grace Hopper.
Wow.
At the end of September. So I get the opportunity to go to both. I have the inches that gets you when you go into the first time for a conference that you don't know what to expect. And I had also the confidence that going to a conference that you have been there before. Yeah.
And so what is it that you bring back from there? So when you go to a networking event, not just necessarily a conference, but just in general, when you have these opportunities to attend a networking event, a meetup, what do you think professionally, personally, you bring back to your team, to the organization? What is it that is so valuable from these networking events? What would you say? Charles?
I'll say the insights. So, not everyone gets a chance to attend these events. So when you do get a chance to attend, I like to take pictures, I take notes, and then when I come back, I will, send a summary to my team. Now that I'm a marketer, I actually make a video of my pictures. But I would say what I'm trying to do in the future is be more purposeful. So I have one version that is for my team and internal, and also have a version that can be shared externally. So that way I can share that on my LinkedIn. And that's also another way to think about conferences. So for example, if you're thinking about going to a conference you've never been to before, you can go online and research the conference. There's always a recap video from the year before.
Yeah.
So watch that recap video, kind of see who attended, see the articles that came out of it, as you're making a decision which one would be the best for me. So I think for me, when you attend conferences, it's about giving back. You go, you meet people, and when you come back to work, you do connections for other folks from the folks that you met at the conferences.
That's great. And we're going to wrap it up. And speaking of giving back, I would like to give the audience back a one word that you can give them about your personal journey, your professional and personal journey that can serve to them now where they find themselves in their career path, in their journey, where they're headed. What has worked for you in your career, in your journey, has gotten you where you are today, will get you to where you'll be in the future? What has been that consistent factor that you would say this works? And then we'll go to questions after that.
For me, it will be patience. When you're trying to get where you want to be, when you're trying to reach that dream, that goal, a lot of things can work along the way. You can have obstacles. You can find things that will discourage you. Especially, I remember as a student in this time of the year, when you're applying so many places, when you are having your inbox full of scheduling interviews, prepping yourself, trying to finish college. It's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress and anxiety. And that's when your mentors comes in. They are not only the people that will help you, coach you, and give you the right tools to get that opportunity, but we the people that also encourage you to keep going when things doesn't work out as you expected. Will be the people that will say they know how capable you are for the opportunity. Things will work out eventually. Just keep going, keep trying. And I think it's a lot of patience. I remember that I started applying at the end of July, and my inbox was full of those things, and you see that weekly, daily, and you think like if it's going to happen someday, like how much I have to go through all this. And for me, it happened, I remember specifically, it happened to me on March 28, 2016 at 3:02 p.m. when that Outlook notification came in saying, Jessica Pagan, software engineer, job offer at Microsoft. And in that moment, I didn't even thought that it will happen, but it did. And you just have to go through it and have patience and have your mentors helping you to keep going.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue, for sure. I'm working on that. I keep working on that. Charles, your word.
My word is learning. And what I mean by learning is continued learning. For me, what I try to do is I try and carve out time, be it 5 minutes a day, 30 minutes a week, and read something new. Okay. So I go online, I read something I haven't read before. I follow a lot of folks on LinkedIn and topic areas like startups, entrepreneurships. Sure. So I go and read those blog posts that folks have shared. And then with that, I just keep learning because the only way to advance is to continue learning. So that's my word, continue learning.
I love that. That's a great word. Sally?
Yeah, my word is tenacity, because you have to, with all of your patience and all of your passions and all of your things that you could learn and the curiosity that you could have, you have to be extremely tenacious in the way that you harness that and then apply that throughout your career. Like whether you do have a job now or you're looking for a job, you really do need to have the ability to apply that energy throughout so that you can achieve all of the wonderful things that you want to achieve. So my big thing is being tenacious.
Love it. Great words. Patience, learning, be a lifelong learner, and be tenacious and courageous out there. Great. Thank you so much. And we have a couple questions from the audience. So Robert, thank you for joining. His question is, how do you find mentors or get into groups where you're in a completely different field and you really don't know anybody in the industry, you're new to the sector? That's daunting for a lot of people. I know I get that question a lot, is how do you begin that mentoring process? How do you ask somebody, be my mentor, right? So
I think for me it was when I started doing networking and going to those events. It can be like literally a networking event that is just an empty room full of people just talking. It happens if you try. Social media is a good place to find the people that you want to you look forward to. They say, oh, they are working on something. I want to learn how they got there. Or if you want to start something completely new, they will tell you what their experience were, what they did to get there, what the preparation they need. So I think even if you are not able to be physically, social media is a good place. But even local events that you can attend and say, hey, I'm interested in learning more about this field, and just be courage, just to approach people.
And you're very shy. You're self-dubbed an introvert. So if she can do it, folks, you can do it as well. It's just asking. You really just ask. A lot of people come to me and just ask. And I've asked myself to get mentors and have never been turned down. So just go ahead and ask. We're gonna have one more question. I know there's a few questions on there, but we're running out of time. So I'm actually gonna jump to this question by Connor. Hi, Connor. Thank you. And Helen, we will get to your question online. Have you ever applied for a role you weren't 100% qualified for and landed it? And how did you proceed? Which I love that question because I think a lot of people have that question. I had that question. So you're not 100% qualified, you still applied, and you landed it.
Yeah.
How did you proceed?
I'll take that question.
Yeah, take the question, Charles.
That's the story of my life.
That is the story.
I think it's all about 70 to 80% there, and then 20% grit and luck. So the role I took in product marketing, I'd never done marketing before. So I switched disciplines and functions. And what I did to make sure I would be successful was create a solid 90-day plan. So when I got that offer, I just said, the first 30 days, I'm going to learn everything there is, historical information. The second 30 days, so that's 0 to 60, make a plan of what I'm going to do. And then the third is just execute. So,
Great.
you know, when you're applying for roles, you see what the core competencies are.
Yes.
If you capture that, you can go on a limb and apply. And then as part of the interview process, you tell the person that, hey, this is an area that I'm going to work on in my first 90 days, because that's the biggest gap I have.
Yeah.
So by owning up and talking about the gap, it neutralizes it. And then when you do get the opportunity, making sure you're prepared. It's prepare, prepare, prepare. And a 90-day plan usually helps you prepare.
Yeah, that's great, Charles. And I think we can all agree nobody's ever 100% qualified for a job. I think we have some core competencies that we tap into, and then the rest is really the potential we have to drive that job. So be courageous and do apply for it and see what happens.
One of the things, just to add about that core part, when I was a student, I was trying to figure out what company was looking. Let's say I want to be web developer. I look for different job posting and see what was in common. I say, oh, this is like different position, different company, but they're looking for this in specific. And I knew that that's something that I had to know. Like, no matter if there's some different things that every team had different qualifications that they want to address, there's something in common. And I was always trying to focus on those things.
Thank you. That's great. We'll take one more question, by the way, from Michael. This question is, thank you for joining, Michael. With the variety of skills that are available in technology, how does one find what they are passionate about, what you're passionate about personally? I struggle with this because today I may be interested in UX development, UI development. Tomorrow I'm interested in project or product management, and the next may be AI. So how do you think, oh, today I'm passionate about this, tomorrow about something else? How does that work?
I don't think it's something that you need to figure out so much as you can explore all those areas concurrently and not feel too guilty about the fact that you feel like you're splitting up your interests. Mm-hmm. So it's funny, like talking about UX, AI, and product management, like that's not what I do, but it's a lot of what my team does all together. Like we look at these kind of technologies. So being able to like just trust that there's actually really interesting jobs coming through with some of these newer technologies, and keeping an open mind about like who thought leaders are that are actually publishing content, what kind of new interesting jobs are existing at Microsoft or outside in these fringe technology areas, and really finding the threads of what interests you and being able to follow them. And if you're really like jamming on AI, just follow AI for a couple of months if that's really what's floating your boat at that point in time. But yeah, focusing things around particular projects that you want to work on or a particular job and building a plan to go and get that job. Like there's different ways to explore those different interests.
Yeah.
To quickly add on to what Sally said, the red thread there's a red thread beyond all this: AI, UX, project management, different tools. Yeah. So as a UX designer, you're probably using, the online editing stuff. As a project manager, you're probably using Excel. So just thinking about the same project but different lenses, different tools is also another way to think about it.
You're right, Charles. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up now, but thank you for your questions. I do have to say, Sally, thank you for that, because I think that the overall theme here is be curious. And put yourself out there, be vulnerable in every area. If you have to explore, go explore. Don't feel like you have to sit into what society may have told you, or the job line may tell you, or the career path tells you where to go. You could just explore everything out there and see what happens. These are great examples of people that have done that and have landed different roles within different industries. So we're all an example of that. So thank you so much for joining us. We will continue those questions out on Microsoft Live channels. Please be sure to follow us and hashtag Microsoft Live. We'll get to you for sure. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys had a good time.
Thank you for having
us.
us.
Thank you. And happy Monday, everyone. Thank you so much.